Hey, Dustin. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Yeah, you too. Welcome back to BC.
Welcome back to Vancouver, my home away from home here in BC. So let's talk about Hank, because I think this is one of my favorite topics right now. Holes 6 and 11 have really, made this thing something that could be very special in 2026. We've got to wait a little bit. We've got to be patient. But tell us about the key implications of what you learned in hole 11.
Okay, so the key implications are that we know there's actually a porphyry directly under Hank, more or less. Before that, prior to that, you knew you were in a porphyry epithermal belt, but there was this one part that was, a huge epithermal system, and you didn't know if there was a porphyry underneath it. There was other ones, such as Williams, which we put out good results from, and we have a lot more, and Mary along trend, but the big question was what's really driving this huge, it's a huge alteration system. It's like 6 by 5 kilometers or so. Really stands out. Like we flew up to about 10,000 feet in a helicopter to really step back and try to see it. And it's just like, wow, this thing pops. So the big question was what's driving it? And now we know that there was always the question, is there a porphyry there? But how quickly can you vector towards it? And the first hole at Lower Hank hit, pretty substantial porphyry alteration. Not into the intrusion yet, so it's not in the core. And then hole 6 drilled through a hydrothermal breccia related to the epithermal part, but as you got to the bottom, you started seeing alteration like magnetite, indicating you're getting into this magnetic body, which is indicative of a core of a porphyry.
So it's getting warmer. You've got 2 holes that are telling you that you're getting close to something.
Yeah.
That could be major. It could be quite large. Can you tell us how large it could be, and tell us why it's so special that Hank, based upon what you know, it's not been eroded yet. The porphyry's still there, but it's probably not crazy deep.
Yeah, so trying to think of how to say this without getting too technical here. So the thing with porphyries, you can have telescope systems, which, to just simplify it, is basically you're compressing the distance between the epithermal system and the porphyry, because porphyries happen first, epithermal systems happen after. If the porphyry and the rocks that the ocean island that it's in is coming up rapidly, and being eroded, and the epithermal system is being formed, that distance can be compressed. Lots of examples all over the world. Like Philo is a telescope system that has a high sulfidation overprint. Sometimes it's a good thing, it brings up the grade. Sometimes it adds a lot of arsenic, like a lot of the Andean porphyries. We don't have arsenic here, but the key implication for us is that it's compressing the distance to find a porphyry. You're not going 2 kilometers depth. You might be 400 meters or so. It looks very positive in that regard. In terms of size, I think the only thing you can really do is look at the signature of the geophysics, look at the scale of the alteration, and then look at regional examples. And it's way too soon to put a number on it. But based on the what I saw in the field, the style of the veining, it just looks like a big system. And when I mean big, I mean somewhere in the billion-ton kind of realm. Like a big, large system, like a KSM deposit or like a red crit, like a big system, not a small little finger or a satellite intrusion. Like it looks like maybe everything else is a satellite thing to this.
Okay, so obviously the main event now is Hank, and that's what we're going to be talking about a lot for the next 8-9 months. But the Highway 37 project is substantial. You've got a lot of ground. You tested the Williams target with multiple holes in 2025. You did a lot of work across the property. So what are the other areas of the project that have your focus as well?
Well, it's still within this Hank Williams Mary trend. There's still a lot to learn in that area. We're understanding more by drilling Williams, and we're showing good grade, and we did hit mineralization from basically surface there on holes that will be coming out. There's big gaps there were big gaps in data in that area. There was a 2.5 kilometer gap with soil samples up to 1 gram gold open-ended right in this prospective trend. So we've done infill soil sampling. We've done more IP. We've done an airborne MMT survey, so electromagnetics, a large survey, about 1,750 line kilometers. So probably one of the bigger ones in BC this year. did LiDAR, which is going to help us target the closer to surface high-grade gold. But then we did a lot of work further west on, we've put together this giant land package. So we did mapping and more prospecting and things like that further to west. And another area that really jumps out to me is the Mess Creek area. So it's further away. So we're not rushing to drill it because it will be more expensive to drill. Strategically, though, it's very close to Shaft Creek. I think about 6 kilometers away. And Shaft was busy there all summer. We saw their helicopters flying all summer long. Whenever we flew out that way, we had to communicate because there's a lot going on.
Shaft Creek is like a porphyry with like 12 billion tons of copper and like 7 million ounces of gold, right?
That sounds about right. That, yeah, it's
big.
It's like a couple billion ton porphyry probably. It's a big system. It's been always considered lower grade.
Right.
There's a high grade within there.
Right.
They've just pushed the shell to get
it's just huge. Yeah,
it's huge, and Tech's working it aggressively. And with this Anglo-Tech merger that's been announced, they've actually made a commitment of $750 million going into Galore and Shaft Creek to advance them. So could be more active. Mess Creek sits on the proposed access road, like it literally cuts right through this trend, and it's an 8-kilometer long, like mega alteration trend, similar to Hank Williams Mary. Different age rocks, like it's probably more like Shaft, but they've just scratched the surface. Really shallow drilling there. I think average depth is below 200 meters. Big Gossans that we saw there and had mapped this year that were evidence of the top of a porphyry. So more work needs to be done, but we're not racing to drill because we've got enough meat on the bone close to the highway. We'll de-risk that going forward. But this is part of our whole strategy of get all the ground and de-risk things systematically, set ourselves up for a big commodity boom, de-risk this for a potential acquirer as well. And we're in a good location surrounded by all these groups in a prolific mining district in Canada.
So I talked to a lot of investors, a lot of shareholders of Kingfisher, and the only concern they have is the off-season, the length of the off-season. So what can you tell us about the news flow that you'll have throughout this off-season, and how do you bridge the gap between now and next June?
Well, there's things I probably can't talk about.
Okay, there we go.
But in terms of there's things we're hoping to do that I don't know if they will materialize. But then there's also things we are definitely going to do, like release all our results.
Right.
And we should probably have, maybe 3 releases of batched holes coming out. Probably, I would imagine the last hole will be coming out around VREC roundup time. MIF time in January. But there's a lot of other surface work we've done, like the airborne EM, all the mapping we've done. Like we're going to be able to put together nice releases on how we've advanced every target and the ideas we come up with. Because, last winter we went through all this and came up with the Hank target, and I think we can do that. We can continue to do it. Like we're executing on what we're doing, what we're saying we're going to do, and now we've got a double. Our team is double the size it was last year, so we've got more capacity to actually work through this ground. And there's a lot you can do in the winter. Like you need to put the right people on the data, and there's a lot of data here. So I think there will be news through the winter. I think it will. Obviously, we're limited by how much drill information we have, but I think we will be able to continue to demonstrate the value of this project and keep people excited as best we can.
Okay, and then final question. So let's say we fast forward to next June 1. What will the season, look like in terms of what you would like it to be? How many rigs, how many meters, and where do you drill first?
Yeah. So obviously the first, we were actually just before this, we were chatting and trying to figure out actually if we could go get not pads built, but pads cleared now. So it might make things go a little faster.
Right.
We looked at it and it was like, it's going to cost quite a bit of money and it's not the most efficient way to spend the money. So we decided not to. But, we'll start in June and the first hole is going to go probably just upslope 200 meters of where we drilled on the similar azimuth and similar dip. And then we'll start stepping out around there. We're also going to definitely test some targets such as deeper things at Mary, which we did more IP there last year, and now based on what we're seeing here, we can apply that to what some ideas is changing. Your ideas are always changing based on what you learn. ME2, we'll probably do some work there. So yeah, I'd like to have 2 drills minimum. So I would like to do the same size of program at a bare minimum. Like ideally, you're always going up in scale. And that's what we've been doing. Larger financings, getting more ground, building the team out, doing bigger programs. Hopefully we can continue that.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Super excited for Kingfisher in 2026 and the Hank porphyry target area. Thanks, Dustin.
Thank you.